Hello, it's me, Chinh. Thank you for being here with me today. Let's talk about something we all have to go through, growing up. When I was little, I used to wish I could grow up faster. Because to a child, being an adult means freedom. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you like. No one scolds you, no one tells you what to do. You can live life on your own terms. But when I finally grew up, I wished I could go back. Back to being that little kid who could nap peacefully in the afternoon, cry without reason, and laugh at the smallest things. No one told me that growing up isn't just about freedom. It's also about responsibility. It's about having to face everything on your own. Work, money, relationships, and those quiet, nameless sorrows that visit you at night. These days, my mornings start with an alarm clock. Emails, meetings, deadlines. My mom calls and asks, "Are you coming home for dinner tonight?" And I say, "I'm busy, Mom. I'll eat out tonight." She just says okay. I hang up, lie on my bed, and suddenly feel a lump in my throat. It's been so long since I had dinner with my parents. They're still there, still waiting. But I keep running toward something else. Turns out, growing up means slowly drifting away from home. Even when home is still right there now, at 30, my life is quieter than it was at 20. Back then, whenever I felt sad, I would post something online, hoping someone would notice, hoping someone would care. But now, I've deleted everything. No more statuses, no more need to explain. Because I've realized something. Being an adult doesn't mean you have fewer sorrows. It just means you've learned how to hide them. There are nights when I work alone in my small room. The only light coming from the street lamps outside the window. No messages, no calls. Just me and a cup of cold coffee. And in those moments, I feel how lonely adulthood really is. Sometimes, just hearing someone ask, "Are you okay today?" would be enough to make me cry. But over time, I've learned that loneliness isn't always bad. Sometimes, it's the quiet space we need. To finally hear our own voice. Back then, on my birthday, I used to get hundreds of messages on Facebook. It made me feel happy, wanted. Now, I only get a few calls, a few texts, and maybe a small cake from close friends. But strangely, the joy feels warmer now, more real. Maybe joy, too, grows up with us. It becomes softer, deeper, and quieter. Growing up also teaches you that not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people only walk with you for a while. But that's enough. Enough to teach you how to love, how to care, and how to let go. Eventually, you realize the most important thing is learning how to be with yourself, to take care of yourself, to comfort yourself, and to believe that you'll be okay even when you're alone. If you're listening to this on a quiet night, feeling lost or tired of all the noise around you, I just want to tell you this. It's okay. Everyone has to grow up. But that doesn't mean you have to lose yourself. Take it slow. Every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to who you truly are. Growing up isn't easy. For a long time, I thought that the busier I was, the more it meant that I was living the right way. Morning meetings, endless deadlines, coffee after work, and then scrolling through my phone until my eyes burned. But one day, I realized Maybe I had been moving too fast. So fast that I forgot how I actually felt. I couldn't even remember the last time I was genuinely happy. Maybe it was that afternoon, riding on an old motorbike with my best friend, singing off-key to some nostalgic song. Or maybe it was that rainy evening when I walked home alone, hearing the sound of my footsteps on the wet road, feeling, for once, that the world had slowed down just for me. As we grow up, we all try to run faster, harder, farther. We want to prove something to the world, and maybe to ourselves. But the harder we run, the more exhausted we become. And one day, we realize, growing up isn't about achieving more. It's about knowing when to stop. I remember taking a solo trip to a quiet seaside town. No plans, no schedule. Just the ocean. The sound of waves crawling toward the shore, and the wind brushing gently through my hair. And I thought to myself, when was the last time I truly slowed down like this? It felt peaceful, almost healing. No noise, no notifications. Just me, breathing in the moment. And I understood then. What growing up quietly takes away from us is that sense of calm, that curiosity, that pure joy of simply being ourselves. For a while, I used to think loneliness was the scariest thing about adulthood. But now I see. Loneliness has its own kind of beauty. When you're alone, you can finally hear your own heart. And the truths you once tried to ignore. Loneliness teaches you that you don't need anyone else to complete you. You just need to love yourself fully, gently, and without apology. At 30, I've started to learn how to say no. No to unnecessary gatherings. No to relationships that drain me. No to anything that steals my peace. And with every no, I feel a little closer to the person I was meant to be. Growing up is a long road. Sometimes you think you've already figured yourself out. Then something small happens, and suddenly you realize you're still learning, still evolving. Every single day. I remember coming home one evening after a tiring week. Mom was sitting at the table, peeling fruit. She looked up, smiled, and said, "You're home. Have some orange, it's sweet." And just like that, all the weight I'd been carrying melted away. Sometimes, that's all it takes. A simple word, a familiar voice, a bit of warmth. To remind you that no matter how hard life gets, there's still a place where you belong. And people who love you. Without needing a reason. Maybe growing up isn't about losing things after all. Maybe it's about learning to treasure what stays. I used to worry that getting older would make me colder, harder. But it's funny. The more I've been through, the softer I've become. Gentler. With others, and with myself. Being gentle doesn't mean being weak. It means understanding that everyone is fighting their own quiet battles. And kindness is the one gift we can give freely, without ever running out. Now, I don't want to prove anything anymore. I just want to live fully. To taste my morning coffee. To watch a quiet sunset. To smile when an old friend messages out of nowhere. These small things, when I look back, are the most beautiful parts of life. If someone asked me, what does growing up take away from you? I'd say, it takes away our innocence, but gives us understanding. It takes away our illusions, but gives us truth. It takes away our storms of youth, but leaves behind a quieter, deeper sky. In the end, I realized, growing up doesn't take everything from us. It simply changes the way we see. It teaches us how to love better, how to appreciate more, and how to live kindly. So if today you feel lost, please remember, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Because sometimes, it's in the moments of confusion and stillness that we finally begin to understand who we really are. Keep walking. Even if it's slow, even if it's hard, every step you take is leading you closer to a more peaceful, truer version of yourself. I'm Chinh. Thank you for staying here with me today. And if the world feels too loud, just pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and smile, because as long as you can still feel peace inside, no matter how much you grow up, you've never really lost the most beautiful part of yourself.